All right, guys, here we are to talk about Season 2, Episode 3 of Stranger Things.
Hachi-machi.
All right.
You should start with Dart, if you don't mind.
Sure, Dart.
You should start with D'Artagnan, because last episode you said, I've been spoiled, you see. I've seen some sort of creature, I think I know what's coming, and I think that I can confirm any suspicions that it might have something to do with the slug that he barfs up at the end of the last season. Tell me what you saw, tell me if this was it, exactly, or
my
whatever.
My spoiler's still hanging.
What?
It's still hanging.
Fuck!
That's not what I had seen.
Holy shit!
But throughout this episode, Dart does like metamorphosize. He's changing.
That was going to be the follow-up. Is he turning into it? Do you think?
So maybe the thing I saw was not what I've seen so far, and I can't directly confirm or deny that it will turn into the thing I did see.
That's exciting.
But it's certainly possible. It's plausible. Because what are the odds they're going to come out? Well, maybe they will see a lot more things. Who knows?
Well, so like, when you said the thing about, it's probably related to the slug, did you say that, or did I make that up?
I think I don't know if I directly said that, but it may have inferred.
So, like, I was hoping that it would be. The minute you see it, I'm like, that's obviously the fucking slug. What the fuck were we talking about? What the fuck? But like, you didn't even see that form of it, if that is the same organism, right? Yeah, that's very interesting.
But the idea that could be the exact slugs, or like it's been a year. It didn't it wouldn't have like in the amount of time we've seen it for like a week, it's quadrupled in size.
Right.
So I don't think it can be anything related to Will's slug.
Right. Well, so so that's probably not the same slug, you would think, right? Although it's the only one in the Right Side Up world
that we've seen.
Yeah, it may take time to grow or something, but yeah, I think at the very least it's probably the same species or something.
Potentially.
They were hearing the noises in the Upside Down, Will was, and now they're here making the same noises and all that shit. I like it. I'm definitely getting the vibe like I was hoping of like the Tremors with the little dudes or something like that. Little things happening and all that shit. I love
the CG on it's amazing. Like it looks, looks really good. Yeah,
it's so good that I don't even notice how good it is. Yeah, when his legs burst out and stuff, that was dope as fuck. I love Dustin feeding it and telling his turtle to fucking peace out and putting it in the cage instead.
Yeah, it's very interesting how we have this creature that it has really bonded with Dustin. It seems in like the day that they've known each other, like enough that has it in his hat. He's carrying it around. He's touching it with his bare hands.
I was expecting a betrayal at some point, right?
I don't know.
Oh, this is just a wild animal that wants to kill us all, and like I probably shouldn't be so nice to it, right?
He gave it nougat though, or whatever it is.
Nougat. I'm a Three Musketeers fan myself. So
I enjoy Three Musketeers.
It's pretty vindicating. In the earlier episode when it's like fucking Three Musketeers, and he's like, that's top 3 for me. I was like, thank you. Fucking people are sleeping on Three Musketeers.
Yeah. I think it's always been in the top for me. I enjoy Three Musketeers. Snickers might be my favorite.
There's no other way to get nougat by itself, so it's like it's like a treat, right? Because if you just want the calories and to get through the day, if you're stuck somewhere for a while, you want the Snickers.
Or if you just want to inhale things that are bad for you, just Snickers.
Just an entire pull apart.
Yeah. Oh my God. You don't know about pull aparts.
On the way?
Fucking delicious.
It's death food.
So what else happens in this episode here?
More about Dart, right? They do the search for Dart, the thing for Dart. I wanted to call out, I really loved the scene where they pass it around really quick.
Like, it's slimy.
Yeah. And they quickly, everyone touches it. It's this weird, I don't know if it's like symbolic or something. I didn't go to film school, but it feels really interesting. She's like, oh my God, it's slimy. And oh my God, what the fuck? Oh my God, it's like a living booger. And then Mike gets it and just goes, what the fuck are you? And just like looks at it very calmly, and I'm like, Mike's a boss. Mike's hardcore as fuck. That's really cool.
Yeah,
because they didn't show it in some other way.
Leader.
That's so perfect to like have that like happen. It's such a small little dumb detail. It could have just run around and they drop things and fuck around with it or whatever.
Sure.
But they did this cool thing to kind of show their reaction to these stranger things.
I thought you were going to say there's going to be something about this. They've all touched it. Its essence. It's imprinted on all of them now, and something's going to happen. Well, I don't know if that'll happen, but I like the idea of it.
It did occur to me, and I wasn't going to say anything, but I mentioned that they all touch it because it did occur to me that it's weird to make sure that we know that they've all touched it for some reason. I don't know if that'll come into play. That would be cool, but yes.
Well, and Mike does try to kill it, so.
I know, which is a little,
It's always weird to me when like people like go to smash smaller squishy things, but I'm like, it's gonna end weird if you connect. You know what I mean? Like he tried to club it with a microphone.
Yeah.
So like it's like if you kill a large bug, it's gonna be like quick and it's gonna leave a squish. So you don't you don't necessarily want to do that. And this is like a thing the size of like a good sized frog.
It's now a frog,
and just
yeah.
like crush
Not
it.
just a
I'm like,
Pollywog.
oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That'll leave a thing you have to clean. Like,
So you want him to go for the vacuum and just like
I don't know, something.
instead of killing the bug that leaves the mess. No, I know, and that was, I don't hate that. That's what a kid would do, right? It was weird. He had like the microphone or something, just like whatever was handy. He's like, I'm killing you with this, I guess. And also, like they like let him out, and then there was like he wasn't immediately gonna do it. They were like waiting for like some sort of condition or something. Because it was really weird. Where you're like why didn't you just club it immediately if your plan was to club it? And then what did it do? It sprouts legs. We must kill it. It has legs. Like it was kind of like.
Well, I think up until that point, it was like he has a suspicion that it could be from the Upside Down.
Oh, okay.
But it could be another species from Earth. We don't know. The moment it like ejects legs, it's now clearly, alien in nature, a monster of some sort. And at that point, the check is like, this thing almost killed my friend. It's almost killed us.
Yeah.
Bam, gotta kill it.
Right. I did really like Will confiding in Mike and Mike getting the Upside Down connection and them all sort of, being on that same page too, right?
Yeah.
I like when characters aren't so like dumb or whatever. I like when they're like whatever.
When they're not a parent in the show.
Well, the parents are supposed to be dumb, which is awesome. That that they are dumb. But the kids are like, because like sometimes we watch things, movies, TVs, TV I think is worse, where something happens and everyone's like, do you think it's related to the like Hellmouth? And you're like, what the fuck? Every week something happens. What the fuck is wrong with you? Do you think it's related to the only crazy? Because this is not the world full of everything. This is just their fucking gateway to hell. So anything that happens, you should immediately be like, wait, is it that? You should think other things are that aren't even that. You should be like very on point with it.
I picture like a young Freddy from the pup named Scooby-Doo with his red herring. Everything is the Upside Down. Everything.
Sure.
I think you just failed your test, Freddy. The Upside Down caused me to fail my test.
That actually would have been perfect if like one of the kids was like, I think this is some Upside Down shit. And they're like, no, it's like getting darker earlier, like stop it. He's like, yeah, we'll see. Or whatever, right? It turns into a thing.
I love Dustin's character.
Yeah, he's
so
great.
much.
Oh my God, he has grown into this whole like
he's one of the best actors on the show.
Like the library, and then when he busts.
Oh my God, the library! I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
When he's like, what the hell is that? Gotta go! These are my paddles.
These are my paddles. I'm taking like a journey down the river of knowledge, and then like when he busts late, into class.
Yeah, and immediately he's in the front row, starts to talk to the people next to him. I'm like, the teacher can see you.
But it's perfect, and then he turns like a goofy idiot, like, and she's like, "Yeah, you fuck," and he's like, "Awesome." No, the whole thing where he like went, like the teacher's like, "Dustin, what the fuck?" and he goes, "Yes, my lord," or something like that.
Yeah.
Like he's literally, it's like, and it's also somehow 80s style like comedy, like he's coming off like the kid in the old movie things. Like I'm very impressed.
He's grown into like my favorite character, I think, at the moment.
Okay.
11 still had that special place in my heart.
She's our mage.
But the idea of her being sad was, I was like, oh
my God,
don't be jealous of her.
So okay, so we'll talk about that right now because it's like related to the search for Dart, right? They end up in the auditorium or the gym, I guess, whatever.
The gym.
And Maxine's on the bike, on the skateboard. I can tell you're looking at me, waiting to like say something, so it's like fucking up my
look this way.
My whole vibe here. I'll look over here, because we have mics attached to our heads. No, so they're having like a little bonding moment, right? And it's the classic thing where 11 shows up and like misreads the situation.
Yeah.
Also uses her like supernatural powers to fuck with Max, which is awesome because that's what a kid would do. It's like, fuck you, bitch.
Well, you can see she's like heartbroken. Her face, she has such great facial cues.
She's great.
And, I'm just like, oh man, she's sad. Oh, I don't want her to be sad.
Yeah.
Fuck this bitch, and like rips her board out from under her.
And then when Mike helps her up, she looks so crushed.
Yeah.
Right. And I think maybe I'm giving it or her too much credit, but I think that was her thing of like, fuck, like I knocked her over and now they're having the help you up moment. That's like she had this like this like regret of like, I'm just making it worse. I tried, I can't. It was this horrible thing where you're like, ugh, I feel you, girl. It's awesome.
Well, I didn't take it as a moment of like, oh no, I made this moment happen. I took it as a oh no, is he just a nice guy? Is he nice to everybody?
Oh, that's even better. That's
like,
fucking
oh,
awesome.
God, I thought he liked me. Is he just?
He says he needs me. Oh, it was amazing. And then I loved Mike again, because Max is like, it's some kind of like magnet like pulled my board or something.
I knew.
I know that's crazy, but he picked up on it, right? Because he's like the smart one. He's the leader. He's the one who's like, wait a minute, and can like do that shit, which is awesome. Because far too often, right, everyone's like, oh, I don't know, is there a thing? And like, I love the different characters. I love the whole.
What's his name in real life? Something Wolfhard?
I don't know. He's on Twitter. I've seen some tweets.
I forget. But no, he's pretty good. Him looking too much like the other kid, though, throws me off a lot.
Yeah, but I think
that's like the bitch version of him.
Right? Like, that's your... And, like, Will's much smaller than the rest of them. It's very interesting. It's a whole thing to their dynamic. And now that he's there, where in season 1 he, like, wasn't, obviously, in every episode, like, around with them, it almost feels, like, off or something. It almost feels like there's an extra kid.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, oh, fuck, or something like that.
Now, the 3 of them had a better dynamic, I think, than the 4 of them do, because they're pulling their punches around him. He's like, the Maxine character, I think, is a good addition. I do think there will be a love triangle.
But it will not be the original people you thought it would be, right?
Well, no. Yeah.
Well, there'll be two.
Well, there might be two love triangles.
Two love triangles? Will there be a love hourglass centered around Mike?
I think, 11 obviously likes Mike. Mike likes 11. And I think you can see it in Maxine's eyes, or it's just weird filming. No. I think she obviously likes him too.
Well, unless this show that pays such good attention to all the details fucked that up. I think that was what we were supposed to show, right?
I think it's like a classic case of like almost like negging, where like it's like he just doesn't like you, bitch, and like she likes him a lot because of that.
He stands out to her because they're kids, and because the other kids, Lucas and Dustin, are falling over each other. Will is some sort of zombie boy, fetus, boy, and then Mike is like, "What do you fucking get off? Can you
just go home?
Like you're ruining the best day of the year, or whatever the fuck it was." And she's like, "Oh, he's mysterious. I want to figure him out. He doesn't like me. Why don't you like me?" Yeah, it's great. It's amazing.
No, it's gonna lead to there has to be some crazy things. It was just furthering the Max's character. Yeah. We find out like it's not really his sister. So either it's his stepsister or it's not, or I don't know, some cool shit. My dad was a scientist and you were an experiment and we brought you in. Maybe it's going to be something like 11 versus Max superpowers.
Oh, I hope not, but I hope so. There are so many things that I want to happen. Because if you remember in like the first one, I was like, and there'll be 12 and they'll be fighting and she'll have
and we still haven't seen that person again.
No, and I don't know how long it's going to be until we loop back to, was it 8 or 18? 8, I think.
I think 8.
I don't know how long that's going to be until we get back, but we know that there's more of them, and these people suddenly showed up in town. I don't know what's happening. Fuck.
Yeah.
There's not much to say about them besides that, though. Billy's still a piece of shit. He's playing basketball with no shirt, but he has enough mustache to make up for it, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
He's such a dazed and confused dirtbag child man.
He has such a weird face. There's something about his
I hate him,
his whole thing where I'm like, what am I looking at? And like, and it does come across as like an older era. So like, it does work, but it's just I'm like, what are you? What the hell am I looking at?
Well, he seems so out of place there, right? But that's what used to happen in those movies, I think, right? There'd be the kids and the stuff, like the Revenge of the Nerds bully kids were like, what the fuck are you? Why are you doing...
you're like a 38-year-old man. What are you doing here?
What is your whole life here? But yeah, he does say, stop, don't call her that. Don't call her my sister or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, he's such a cold, fucking horrible bastard. I'm still hoping that there's something paranormal there or something going on. Each episode where nothing more is hinted at all will make me, degrade on that until I give in.
That's what I'm saying. Either it's like don't touch on it, don't touch on it, don't touch on it, so that I forget and don't even think that anymore, and then I get hit with some crazy shit. Or it's like, well, obviously there's nothing paranormal there. It's just a guy from the...
No, and like they didn't do much more. Well, maybe the She's Not My Sister is supposed to be it. Like I give this show enough credit to not accidentally trick me, right?
Yes.
To either be tricking me, and then I'm just gonna guess right or wrong, but like the trick is either this is a red herring and it's not gonna happen, or the trick is like, little did you know, the new kids in town are actually this, right? They'll be one thing or the other.
Something completely different. He's a vampire. Like, what? He's a lost boy. Oh my god.
Oh, it's perfect. I wonder if they'll introduce other things that are, what be strange in this show. I don't know.
So we know that it's all emanating from the lab. Paul Reiser, like, you're crazy. But then they do go look into it, and he does say we need multiple days here.
So that's perfect, right? So like last episode, it's like, well, Hop should know this is like the Upside Down, and it's like, well, he has to know, and again, a worse show would have done a whole thing about it, or just led me to keep believing maybe he doesn't know, or had him like not put it together. But this next episode picks up instantly, like, oh my god, it's right around the lab. That's it, fuck, and goes to Paul Reiser, gives him the business, fucking actually fills in some exposition there, right?
Yeah.
I keep it quiet for you people, and then you keep your shit out of my town, and the whole like he says, convince me or something, right?
Yeah.
And that's his like drop line, and he's being confident with like a little bit of wavering, like, am I allowed to yell at this guy? Or are they gonna fucking kill me? It was really good performance. I was like, this is awesome. And Paul Reiser's doing the eyebrow up, like, okay, we'll go out there. Yeah. So it's
So they're out there though when he gets that call about that Russian girl, whatever. And I'm like, did Paul hear that? Like, because he gave a look, but it could just be like, oh, that guy's running off. What is he doing? Look, or it could be like, I heard something. All right, we're gonna be investigating your fucking shit soon.
So they put him. They cut to him looking before, while the other cop's talking, which made me think that they want you to think that he does hear something or whatever the fuck. And they drop in, this is a very small throwaway thing, right? Like Nancy calls Barb's parents, and it cuts to like giant reel-to-reels, like recording all the town's conversations on the phones, I guess.
Well, we know that they made a reference that earlier, that they're all tapped. We can't do anything, whatever.
Exactly.
And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what is her plan? She stopped at the Radio Shack for something.
I know, we don't know that yet,
right? Is she planning on like recording the confrontation of the thing, and then she could show that to the people? Like, what is the...
Ooh. I don't know what she's trying to do.
What is the pull here?
So I thought about that briefly. I have no idea what their plan is, and I actually was hoping. I kind of forgot by the end of the episode because they don't come back to it, right?
No.
But I was hoping to be like, ooh, I'm going to have to take note of that so we can discuss whatever. She has a bag from Radio Shack, and she wants to talk to Barb's mom tomorrow. Do you think Barb's mom dies tonight?
I don't know.
We don't get a chance to talk to her?
I kind of love these moments in shows, though, when like there's a plan, and it's not obvious. I can't tell what the plan is at all. And then when the plan happens, I'm like, oh my god, they're going to do this. And then there's usually a little bit of a twist on whatever that is, and I'm like, oh, genius, they thought about the thing that I didn't know they were going to think about because I didn't know what the issue was.
No, and I really like, because I've said it a few times, I think, is like where they're choosing to cut the episode starts and ends.
Oh, God, they're bastards with that. Bastards. They're the kings of making you fucking binge watch something.
I know, and like it's not the same as like a shitty, cheap, because like Hop races off to get 11 like 10 or 15 minutes before the end of the episode, and you don't see him again, right?
No.
Joyce rushes off to get to Will like 7 minutes before the end. Like, people are like in their cars racing towards the same place now.
Yeah.
But it's been building to. It isn't like the very last minute and something does happen, but it isn't like the only cliffhanger, the only tension.
No, yes.
It's at the last minute, and it's just this cheap thing.
The biggest one though is always at the very end.
Yes.
Where you're like, oh, I gotta see that, and like. If we were in the situation where we weren't reviewing them, after each episode, I would love to fucking just binge right through this whole thing because Jesus Christ. But yeah, that ending. What the hell? There's more stuff between here and there though, so let's keep covering.
We're at the ending. Do you want to just do it?
Just do it, all right.
And then we'll come back to the other things.
Okay.
Let me just, because I wanted to look at like how did I write this down? Will gets face raped by shadow tentacles.
So there's a new show called The Mist off the movies.
Beautiful.
And The Mist does this exact thing to people where like it like goes like into their body and like chokes them to death or whatever. But only some people. And I'm like, oh god, Will's one of those people.
Are we gonna review The Mist?
I've seen the whole thing already, so no.
Oh. Episode by episode, you heard it here first. Breakdown. No, this is cool because okay, just to take a quick step back. When I went to like watch this episode, I had to go to like the episode list, and there's something in there too. So I can't claim to have thought of this myself, but it says like a well-meaning Bob gives some like bad advice to Will or something. Because I remember when like when it happened, my thoughts were I wrote something down like Bob Bob the Brain gives like the worst possible advice you could possibly give in this situation. Part of me expected, well, maybe this will work. Maybe Will's now got something happening, but part of me was like, this seems like horrible advice. I feel like he's been running away and barely getting away like all the time from this, and he's marked and like infested or contaminated in some way. And if he just stands up to this thing, something's gonna happen. I didn't expect this. This is crazy to me.
My prediction as for what could happen, and I don't know if this will happen, but I think I'd like to see this, is the mist goes into him, and then when he steps back across, he's either like the doppelganger of himself being run by Mist Monster, or he comes back to our world, and then it breathes it out, and now there's like a monster in our world.
Okay, yeah, so definitely something's happening that's going to transfer back into like the real world. I think there has to be some connection because they didn't just reference him choking up the slug. They like cut to like a quick shot of it when he's like seeing Dart earlier or something like that. But I don't think because he had like actual real tentacles going in him before, and that's where I think the slug got put into him or something like that. But there's clearly something going on with him where he's like a vessel or like a like I think that the bad people know that like they can't get out through the big hole, but this kid keeps popping in and out. So if we can smuggle something into the kid like we did with Dart or whatever, this will be like what, right? So it's got so something has to happen, right? I don't know what, so like we talked about it before, and like I didn't mention it, right? But like Will feels like this bolted-on piece of the crew, and I think whatever's happening here, he'll kind of be leaving the crew, and then we'll have Max and like the original 3 from like the first season as like the crew, right? For like the rest of this season.
I think he might be the bad guy of like it's a potential like you can get a thing where like it's like a young vampire thing where like it's a little kid who's the boss of everything. I don't know
well, I like that because like we've only heard noises, seen Dart, and seen this giant Cthulhu impossible smoke monster, right? So now with like Will, we have this nice corporeal, grounded, villainous thing. We no longer have to, because we're not going to fight Paul Reiser.
And the issue with a smoke monster, what my problem is that like I'm like it'd be really weird to be in our world because like how would we fight that? And it's
they don't like light. My thought was something with light and the science teacher.
Sure, it'll be like little monsters.
Yes, like many things.
But my thing here is like we know that the Demigorgon or whatever the fuck it was called. Looked exactly the same in both worlds, so it's not like the smoke monster's going to come through our world and then all of a sudden be a scaly Cthulhu thing,
like
like
in a suit. Yeah,
I know. So it's weird.
And you can't fight like weird demon smoke, right? With,
yeah,
like,
this isn't Lost.
Normal weapons or something like that. I know. So and like even its impossible size. In like the first episode of this, we commented like we don't like villains that are this weird. Like it's the boss battle of some crazy video game where it's like you have to make it attack here and then jump on its arm and run up it and do like some like that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make for good TV.
For like the real world, those things don't make sense to fight these giant things that could step on you. But we'll get stepped on.
It also leads to those goofy fucking things where like the bad guy's just aiming at the fucking ceiling, shooting like dark into the sky for like, oh, his meter's going up. Oh god.
No, and he has to summon like 100 minions that mean nothing for us to fight.
Yeah.
But luckily, this is not that sort of weird like action sci-fi show. So I do hope we get some creepy shit with Will. I think that actor would fit a lot with that sort of weird like. And they even say in the same episode, because right, she's like, you don't understand, Jonathan. Barb's dead. Will came back, and Jonathan's like, well, but he's different, right? So this feeds more into that.
Well, there was that weird like subtle drop from the man who got the pipe through his head. He's like, but he was different.
I know. That's so brilliant. I wrote that down, the Phineas Gage thing, which I think I heard about in school as well.
Yeah.
I think we all hear about that in school. So that's number one to make it awesome. And number two, something happens to you and you're like a different person. So now I think this is all the, film school 101, screenwriting 101 thing of Will's going to be different. And now it's Max. I don't want her to call herself a Zoomer ever again, though. That's pretty dumb.
I like the party. I do want 11 to get back into this group quickly because I think they're going to need anything that can fight anything very soon. It would be interesting if we do get 8, 9, 10, 11, like all these things. So like you need the group to fight this giant
Voltron.
thing.
Oh, it's perfect.
Something. They all have different powers, though, and presumably you're not just going to be fighting Cthulhu, as we keep calling it. You're going to be fighting the Paul Reisers of the world too. So you need. Yeah, like some people are actually able to do something.
No, and the battle lines are not really yet drawn, which is interesting to me because we're still early. Unfortunately, we're a lot earlier in the season than we wanted to be by this date on the calendar. But I think that's clear. But there's so many ways that it could go and so much that could happen. We're left off in this really interesting spot with all the characters. Like I said, they're all racing towards something or whatever. Yeah. 11's in the real world. Will's being raped by tentacles in like the other world. The crew is looking for Dart, and they found him, but they don't know it or whatever the fuck, right? So, like, next episode, I expect to kind of pick up where this left off and for some shit to happen.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Oh, we didn't talk about Joyce watches the tape.
Yes, so she watches the tape and, like, traces bits of it out. There's a little bit of a comedy with her, like, this tape's too small. It's like a trunk.
I know. I kind of liked that, though.
I like that because like, the technology is new. Doesn't know how it works. I thought that was cool though when she traces it and like it's like holy shit, this is that like it's all coming like everyone knows everything now. There's not many people that are in the dark.
Yeah, and that's another thing, right? Where so like Hop is like, those gooey trees, I have to go fuck Paul Reiser, slap him in the face, and now Joyce is like, holy shit, there is something. And like even the kids say like maybe these aren't flashbacks or PTSD. Maybe he really is able to see.
Yeah, he's a seer or whatever they call them.
Maybe he came back with true sight.
Yeah,
and like they're like what? And he basically like reads the definition from like the D&D manual or something.
Yeah, he can stare into the abyss.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so next episode you're probably gonna have Joyce telling Hop like, no, he's saying this, and then he's like, I didn't want to tell you about this, blah blah blah, and like they'll all probably get cued back in. We got some insight onto what those tripwires were. I knew they weren't attached to cans. I knew it.
Well, they're attached to like something else that just makes noise.
Mousetrap that fires a gun.
Well, it doesn't like shoot the bullet at the person.
No, but it makes a loud ass noise.
Yeah, it makes a noise.
So that's
sort of like the last thing I think is like all that home life flashback stuff. With
and it was nice seeing some of that stuff. I like how her use of powers is so easy now, and she can just do it because like her nose wasn't bleeding at all doing this shit she was doing today.
When she slammed the door like an angry teenager with her mind though, and like moved her hand kind of, but like the door slammed shut, I was like, that's so awesome. Because she freaks out, has this outburst, like throws the waffles at Hop, and is like "fuck," and she like storms off. It was so awesome. It was so perfect. Yeah, because she just gets angry and it like happens. It like comes out and all that business. She's like, because you're thinking like, it does suck. She's been here for almost a year. She's just living with Hop. She's had like a really tough life. Everything's shitty or whatever. But she also this terribly powerful, dangerous weapon or something like that. That has all the raging emotions of a young teenager.
But I love the like soon. You said soon on day 27. You said soon again on day 240. It's now day 350, whatever. You're still saying soon. When is soon? 700? 500? 900?
800? When soon? Friends don't lie, right? We'll just say. And then Hop's like, well, it's when it's not dangerous anymore. And this whole thing. And I loved his his reaction. Like, are you counting the days now? Like you're a prisoner? Like what's going on? Like it was like very very good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, she is kind of a prisoner.
Well, and I like when that gets called out. I like when the character is smart enough to react that way, and like the show's good enough to find a way to make it happen and weave it in without it being like this awkward, like you're like a prisoner. Because they could have had like Xing off days or some bullshit. Right? It could have been very like overt or something like that. But they do this brilliant thing where they cut to the flashbacks of like these are the rules. Rule number 1, don't do this, and she does it. Rule number 2, never do that, and she does it. Rule number 3, and they show the whole thing of her like leaving.
And it was awesome. Totally fun and spiteful because they'll like lift the blind just to leave.
Didn't have to even do that. No, it was wonderful. Yeah, and that's how she ends up in like the real world, and Hop finds out, and we were kind of talked about that. But the flashback, I noticed because I freeze framed it, because I was like, what was written on that box?
Okay.
There's a scene, so he's saying like, this is, my grandfather lived here. Now we just use it for storage or something. So whatever. And while he's talking to her, he kind of gives like a weird look and like picks up a box and like puts it under, like hides it or takes it or something like that.
What did it say?
And the box said Sarah. That was like.
His daughter stuff.
His daughter, like pictures or artifacts.
What was the thing he was reading to 11? It's
something that you shouldn't read to children ever.
It's really weird.
Yeah,
I couldn't get the perspective of who was like saying it in the story or like what the hell it was.
Yeah, really weird. So like
goofy shit.
I know a lot of kids' stories have some like dark elements or something like that. This could have been like Great Expectations, maybe. It had like a weird vibe, but it was in the first person, and he's literally reading to he's just reading. My mother died, and then my father died, and then now my life is fucked. And he's like, that's please screen your material that you show this girl, because she obviously immediately reacts like, what about that?
Yeah, she's like emotionally challenged to begin with, and you're fucking with her.
It felt like an old book, though, something about it. Or was it because they said died of a fever, right? It felt like the intro to an old book, and I know there are old books about orphans and shit like that.
Sure.
Literature or whatever.
Yeah, but it was a solid episode, and I definitely want to see more. That ending got me where I'm like, God, I need to know what happens to him.
No, I want to hit play fucking immediately.
Got ghosted in his face.
I'll take one more from the pile here. There's
sure.
Fucking really liked. So Sean Astin, I've called out before, is an actor.
Yes.
I didn't know that. but you knew that, so this is not like shocking for you or whatever. But that scene where he's talking to like, first of all, everything is so perfect. He's like, oh well, like how about it, champ? You want to go for riding the Bobmobile? And does this little weird like mannerism, and we talked about the speech about like just yell go away or something like that. But then later he talks about like, yeah, Will's like me. We're the ones who don't punch back, and then he gets this like 1,000-yard stare, and you can tell his character's remembering like some bullying incidences or whatever. And he talks about like they can like sense your weakness and they rub your nose in it just a little more. Like, oh, it's just, you can feel his fucking like fuck.
But then
That's
it's like,
awesome.
but I'm with the cheerleader now.
Yeah. No, and like smooths it over and goes, well, but he's like there's such like a wounded person or whatever. It's like perfect.
Yeah,
I love it. Could have just been some hapless fuck that's gonna die and some weird thing, right? But they gave him all this depth.
Side note, did you know who his dad was, Sean Astin?
Dad Astin.
It was the guy who played in the black and white Addams Family, the Gomez Addams.
Oh, shit.
I forget his name is something Astin.
I hope so.
Yeah.
This whole time I've been afraid that I'm not pronouncing his name correctly, too.
Well, you should always live in fear.
Every day of my life.
You, folks. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about this episode. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.